Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Planet Zoo related video. In today's video, we are going to look at one specific topic we've been talking about in another video already, but I think this video today will be focusing on this specific topic, which is what you can see from the title, staff management. And reason being for me talking about this in particular is this screenshot over here, which is now also again a few days old. It's not fresh off the press, it's already a few days, and you will have seen that on various channels already. But there is this one specific thing I wanted to talk about, and this is over here, as you can see in that corner. This is this little, I think it's a monkey enclosure. What people might have been spotting, and I think as well this could be true, this could very well be a little monkey over here, but this is not what we want to talk about. What we want to talk about is this reddish path over here. So today's episode is all about staff management, and we've been taking a look into how a real zoo layout is being done. If you haven't seen that video yet, I will highly recommend to watch it. You will find it now to the top right corner with a little info button is popping up. To understand what we are going to talk about and why this is important. So staff management in general is something that helps your employees in the park to get to various locations without being disturbed by the normal path interaction by guests. And you know, this is not the only thing that staff management is all about, but staff pathing is one particular element of the staff management. But there's also stuff like trainings, staff training, obviously the payment of your staff, the staffing in general, how many people, how many different people do you have, and all these various factors pay into it and will help you to manage your park even better or your zoo even better. So if we look at this particular image over here, you can pretty much tell that there is no one going over this path over here. This could well be because this is not a shortcut at all. You can see it's slightly angled, so it could also be that the AI of the people just doesn't count it as a shortcut, but it could also mean that this is a kind of staff only pathing, and that we would have the enclosure opening or the gate on the back side of it. We can't really see that from this image over here. We really have to only kind of play the guessing game again, but I'm pretty sure they will have something as this implemented. You know, there's this one particular thing that we all know about, and there's a lot of info in the press releases already, that staff management will be a major part of the game. It's already improved, and they already also approved that it will be a way more important thing than it has been in Planet Coaster and also in Jurassic Park, Jurassic World Evolution. So yeah, I briefly thought this was a staff building over here in general, but I think this is a toilet. Like, from my knowledge of Planet Coaster, from the color scheme of the bottom part, this might be a toilet building rather than a staff building, also because of the separation in the middle. So we can pretty much also tell from this little building over here, and also there's another one on the right hand side, as you can see over here. These blocks are marking buildings for your guests that can be used and interacted with. In this case, it seems to be a toilet, and it seems to be that these people do need a lot of toilets, because you can see in only one area there are already two. But what I want to do with you in this video today is also I want to look at this topic from a different view. But before we do so, let me just show you another little hint at what we can expect from the staff management before we then go actually into Planet Coaster, and I do show you what kind of possibilities we have in Planet Coaster to deal with the staff management. The same we will do with Parkitect, which is, at least from my perspective, the best game ever in terms of staff management in a park builder game. But you know, let's first of all look at the screenshot. So yeah, again, here we are in the promised screenshots. The first of two screenshots we are briefly looking at. You know this image, but I just wanted to recap that we do know one behavior of the staff already. This is a kind of a Zookeeper, and he is using a somewhat air-blowing machine. It seems to be used to clean the enclosure from maybe, I don't know, grass that has been mown even. So this is the one thing I was actually actually thinking about. So maybe you even have to care about growables and growing. I had this idea in the first video I made about this game, the first analysis, that we might see growable plants, and the reason for my guess there was that we have several trees that kind of look to be the same species, I don't know, but they looked differently covered in leaves, so potentially it could be, about growing stuff. And I have the same guess over here, because why should he be blowing the grass if it did not has been mown? And if it has been mown, it has to grow, because otherwise just mowing for the act of mowing doesn't really make any sense. So potentially this is a reason for it. And this leads me to a way more important fact, because if that would be a thing, and at least the kind of blowing away from grass or whatnot here leads to the fact that this has to be collected somewhere, and this kind of selected pile of grass or whatever it will be has to be carried away, right? And I don't really think that it would be logic to carry that through or just over the normal pathing of the park. It doesn't really make sense at all, because it really leads to a lot of traffic issues in the park, and I'm pretty sure that also guests doesn't really like that. However, let's go to the next screenshot, because there's a little bit, just a tiny bit of info in, and then we can go finally into Planet Coaster. Alrighty, so here we are in the next screenshot, and again, just a very brief look at it, just to confirm that, zookeepers or park keepers are not only within the enclosures, they also move around the park normally, and not only on the staff path, but also on the normal path. As you can see on the left hand side over here, this is pretty much also a staff member. You can see that from, actually he's wearing the same kind of clothes that the other one has, and it could also be the same hat, if I do spot that correctly. And he's wandering around, and we can pretty much tell from this image that he is using, at least in this specific screenshot, the normal guest pathing, but somehow he has to get into the enclosures, so maybe there's a reason for us believing there can be staff pathing as well. But before we go even more into this, let's now have a look into Planet Coaster, how they treat staff management in the game. Alright, so we are in Planet Coaster. This is a park I've specifically chosen because it somewhat resembles a little bit the layout of a zoo. It's not a zoo, obviously. I've built this park for a Frontier event a few years ago. Actually, this is the PAX park for the PAX East 2 years ago. This is what I built for them, to have the game running on the computers in the environment. But I chose this because we also have the choo-choo train here. It kind of has the same building style somewhat as you have seen from the zoo, and I thought this would be a great example, because back then the game didn't have staff management, so the staff in this park will have no option to recover and stuff like that. So we are going to have a little look at what we can do with the staff management. So in the area over here, no, let me just move this away. I should have hidden that, but it kind of is in the way. So in the tabs down here, this is the normal Planet Coaster UI. For those of you who don't have played this, this is Planet Coaster, and we have shops and facilities down here. We can pretty much expect that to be happening in Planet Zoo as well. It will definitely look different, but then there is this little tab down here which is called the staff management, and if we click on that, you can see there is a building which is called the staff building. So let me just put the staff building in here. And what I'm also going to do is, just for the sake of showing you the example, I'm putting a food shop somewhere, which is the brand Chief Beef now. So we are going to put Chief Beef here, and we are going to put a Dune Delight shop to the space over here. I don't know, it's not too important, right? But what we can do is we can actually go into this staff building, for example, and then you can edit this staff building. If I click this building, nope, I didn't want to do this. Done. Sorry. I think, I may have to edit this in the settings first of all, because you can, in the game controls, you can say that you have staff management enabled or disabled. See, I have enabled this first of all. Boom, there we go. Sorry for not checking this, but I'm used to playing sandbox, so I don't need that anyways. But now you can see I can click the staff building, and we have some settings in here. So I can say how much capacity this building will have. At the moment, only 3 staff members at the same time can be in here. I can increase that to a maximum of 10, and I can also decide for a specific perk of it. And if you have watched carefully, what has happened over here is that these two guys swapped places, and now I'm putting in a recovery room. So as you can see, this little guy over here, let me just see who that is. That's Mr. Johnny Joder. He is wandering around now, and he's not tired yet, and he's, you know, doing his job, so he doesn't need to be in the stuff building. But what we're gonna do, for the sake of just showing it to you, is I'm going to quickly increase the speed of the game, and then just wait until our members have to change or go for a little recovery. So let's do this. Alright, I feel like they are going to exchange spots over here. I just want to show it to you because that's pretty interesting and will also mark a potential staff management element in Planet Zoo. So as I hit play again, you can see she's jumping over, and now she's going to take her spot. And now we're going to follow her over here. Can I just go into follow camera? There we go. As you can see, she is now wandering around, and I'm pretty confident she will now go to the stuff room. So let me just increase the speed a little bit. Here we go. And she's really aiming to go into the staff room. And now let's hit play for a second. She seems to be pretty happy. This is Miss Allison Stion, I guess it is, and you can see from her attributes that she is pretty happy because she had a good job. She's going to be paid very nicely, but oh, she's also going to play a little bit of table tennis in this room, I guess, but I've never seen that. Anyhow, and she's very low on energy, so she's going to the staff building that gives her or provides her with a boost of energy. So you can see she's going to go in here now, and we are going to follow what's happening. You can see the energy bar is raising. Alright, so you can see Allison pretty much recovered, and she's about to be able to go into the park and do her job again, which is awesome because we definitely need that. So as you can tell already from this pretty simple example, this is very much a mechanic we can expect to be happening exactly like this in Planet Zoo. However, what is a little bit of a problem in here is that you can't really put restricted paths in. So one thing that could be really cool is, and let me just show you this now in action. So you have to be a bit more creative to get this done. So as we might change this towards that, and then we are going to connect the path, let's say to over here, right? Then you can really see, and I'm going to really increase the speed again so you can see what I meant. Only the staff members are using this path, but this is not because it's restricted for path for management purposes only. That would be awesome because this is how it should happen. So you can pretty much expect to have an enclosure over here, and then this is going to happen. But as soon as I put, let me just show you, kind of a connection to this path over here, the guest AI will kind of try to see if this is a shortcut, and as soon as people realize that this could be a shortcut to their specific need, and potentially this is not going to happen over here right now because this is no shortcut at all. So here we go. Now you can see guests are using this way because it is for the AI, it is a shortcut to come here, and people are using this path as well. So not really what we need, not really what we want, and this is why we have to go into another game now to show you what's going to happen, hopefully in a Planet Zoo. So see you back in Parkitect. Alright, so as promised, here we are in Parkitect, and Parkitect is a pretty much different approach of a game in terms of theme park management game. Parkitect is more leaned towards the original Roller Coaster Tycoon games, but with a very much improved management aspect of the game. And this is what we are hoping, obviously, for Planet Zoo as well. This is one of the scenarios parks I have finished, and I'm going to show you why this is so specifically interesting for us now. So Parkitect has, in comparison to Planet Coaster, also a staff management aspect, but it's it's a bit more in-depth than it is with Planet Coaster. So as you can see, we have park utilities, and these park utilities are all for staff and delivery management. We have, for example, a depot. As you can see, depot is meant for haulers that can pick up resource crates for selected jobs. From here, janitor can drop trash and bags and stuff. So for once, they have to carry goods towards the shops. So for example, as you can see, here are some crates that have been delivered, and you can see from the little icons on top of it, they are for specific shops. So the haulers have to get these things and really by feet carry them to the specific shop they needed. And on the other hand, the janitors in the park, if they empty the bins, they just don't have them emptied and it's gone. No, they will have some trash that they do carry around with them, and they have to bring the trash somewhere to be able to empty some other bins again, which then ends in the fact that they can carry them to over here and then can be put into this kind of waste recovery machine or whatnot, which also creates energy, but it's not that you will use energy. But yeah, this is pretty freaking cool, to be honest. Then we do have, as you can see over here, we have some transport tubes, and you can actually connect this one to delivery points as well. As you can see, these are connected only at the beginning of the park over here, and I haven't done this in this park, which is pretty much, you know, I could have done this underground and then just, you know, connect this to a shop, or it's actually toilet, but I could have connected this over here, and so you have also like an underground connection that you can use for delivery elements and aspects, but it's not really important for now. But that could be a cool thing in Planet Zoo as well, to be able to at least transport waste or whatnot between areas quickly, and then have all the goods delivered to a specific point in the park without always making them use the pathing. So talking about pathing, we do have a specific pathing in here. We have a normal path, we have queues, which we do have in Planet Coaster as well, but we also have the employee path. And as you can see from the description, employees who are heading somewhere to complete a task prefer using these over normal path, even if it means making a detour, which again is completely in contrast to what I've just shown you in Planet Coaster, where it's always the same logic to take a shortcut. So if it is a shortcut, everybody, including the staff people, will use it. In this game, they will prefer to use the staff pathing because it's easier for them. They are not stuck in traffic or whatnot. But there is one very cool element that Parkitect introduces, and this is how people perceive the park. So there is an option to show some interesting things, and there is this one thing that is called immersion, and immersion shows you how people do see the environment. And you can see that if they are more in here, like in these elements, they can't really see anything about the staff management. These guys can see something over here. As you can see, they are a little more orange, so they spot a little bit of the kind of, I think, the flat ride operating system, so this is why they are not liking it too much. At the same time, you can see that there are a few people in red over here because they can see the staff pathing. So the game actually also deals with the immersion. So the more you let them see from the backstage management, the less happy they are. So you can actually see that this could be a very nice thing to bring into a game, because it really makes it feel a lot more complicated to connect everything. And as we've talked about this in the Planet Zoo, or like the comparing video about a real layout of the Duisburg Zoo, you can tell that backstage management will be a huge aspect to create realistic zoos. And if we have the possibility to connect those two cool elements of those two games into one, that would be an awesome management aspect about staff management. And just to complete the list of things we do have, this game doesn't offer only, as you can see, the depot. It also has the trash chute, which then is to, as you can see, janitors can drop trash bags, needs to be connected to the underground connector of the delivery building. Guests don't enjoy seeing it, so actually, if you don't want to make the janitors run all the way, you can, for example, go in and then put one here, hide this away, and connect this with the underground transport tubes, as I just said, to deliver the waste to this area directly without making them run, but I just kind of succeeded here without needing that. But you also have the staff training room, and I'm pretty sure I have this hidden in here. If I don't, no, I didn't. I don't have any training room. So if you put down the training room, obviously, let me just quickly do this. You pretty much have to connect this with the path, which I will do quickly. And oopsie, let me just connect this that way. And you can then also again go in and see they can be trained, which makes them more efficient. You can't specifically choose a specific task as you could have done in Planet Coaster, but in Planet Coaster you actually have the one room, the staff building, that can fulfill various needs. I'm kind of fine with that. If you would need to build at least 2 or 3 or 4, that's totally fine, and then give them different perks. That would be fully, fully fulfilling my demands, to be honest. But yeah, it's somewhat has to work like that, because otherwise it will be pretty boring and pretty easy to handle. But so I'm really hoping for this. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little overview about staff management in different games and how this can be connected to a perfect staff management in Planet Zoo, the upcoming Zoo game in fall 2019. I hope you enjoyed this, and also leave me a comment down below what you expect from the staff management, and let me know in the comments as well if you do play one of those 2 games, Planet Coaster and Parkitect, and how you like the staff management in those games. And yeah, are you one of those realism suckers that really do want to have the very realistic thing? And if so, let me know what would be your cherry on the cake in terms of staff management that you don't see in either one of those 2 games I just showed you in today's episode. Is there something you are still missing? For example, if you take me, I would love to see transport cars, or let's say vehicles, staff vehicles. For example, if you take Parkitect, it kind of works with the haulers, because haulers don't have to cover that immensely crazy distances. But in a zoo, there will be a huge distance to cover from a safari enclosure, for example, to someone else. And we kind of saw Jeeps already in one of the concept art, which are potentially more of a guest ride. But would you love to see a Jeep which is only be used by the staff members, and you have to make dedicated Jeep routes for them to be used? Honestly, if that would happen, I would kind of die for excitement. That would be completely awesome. And to be honest, I have high hopes, because I know Jeeps were implemented in Jurassic World Evolution. We know that they will borrow ideas from both games, Planet Coaster and Jurassic World Evolution. So I hope that a perfect combination of both will let us control them to use vehicles, and that would be purely insane and purely awesome. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below what would be your super special item that you would love to see in the game. And yeah, I hope you will be here for the next update video of Planet Zoo as soon as there's some real updates. Otherwise, we are going to look into more details about zoos in general. And yeah, see you soon. Have fun, have a good day, and bye bye, guys.
Push that daydream up the mountain slow.